Thank you so much for coming. This is a great turnout. I am going to introduce our first individual who will be speaking, Dean Paige Fields. I'm going to provide a brief bio on her. Paige Fields is the Dean and Henry D. Price Professor of Business at the University of Kansas School of Business. Before coming to KU in July 2017, she served as the Dean of the School of Business at Trinity University. Fields' research expertise includes corporate governance, banking, insurance, and capital structure. She served as the Associate Editor of the Journal of Financial Research and has more than 20 referenced journal articles to her credit. Fields holds a doctorate in business administration and finance from the University of South Carolina and a master's and bachelor's degrees in finance from Louisiana State University. So thank you, Dean Fields, for providing that introduction.
Hello, everyone. I'm actually here not to speak, but to welcome you. And I want to thank everybody for coming to this great event. There are few, can everybody hear me? I'm probably very loud out there and not loud at all back here, but there are few skills that you're going to develop that are going to be more valuable to you in your life and in your career than the ability to negotiate. Few things are going to be more valuable to you than that. And this afternoon, you're going to hear about closing the gap and how to negotiate salary. I have held a number of positions at different universities in a number of different roles. And I'm here to attest to the fact that being able to negotiate in an appropriate fashion is very personally fulfilling and also leads to some of the best successes you're going to have in a career. Now, when it comes to negotiating salary, the most important thing, in my mind anyway, is having a well-researched idea of your market value in a given position. Okay? So over the years, I have watched people make two really common mistakes when they negotiate salary. One is that they do not equate their worth or their market value with what they're willing to accept. In other words, they accept less than their market value after they've done the research on that, and they don't negotiate at all. They simply take what they're given. The other mistake is that people don't do their research and instead have an idea of what they want or a dream of a salary that really isn't appropriate for their market value, and then negotiations fail. So what I'm hoping and what I believe is going to happen is by hearing the presenter this afternoon in this panel discussion that you're going to avoid those common pitfalls. So I hope you really enjoy the speakers today. I know you're going to get a lot out of it. And again, there's almost nothing you're going to do in your career, not just about salary, but in terms of all of your interactions with people and all of your circumstances, nothing is going to serve you as well as being able to negotiate. So I hope you enjoy the speakers today. Thanks.
Thank you, Dean Fields. What a wonderful welcome to an event that impacts so many here at KU. Obviously, it impacts a variety of different groups across campus, and so we're happy to have all of you. I'm Janelle Whistler. I'm with the Engineering Career Center, and I'm here today to welcome a very special guest. Wendy Doyle serves as the President and CEO of Women's Foundation, where she promotes equity and opportunity for women and their families using research, philanthropy, and policy solutions to make meaningful change in the Midwest. She received her BA from Rockhurst University in Kansas City, Missouri. She also serves on the Missouri Women's Health Council and the Greater Kansas City Chamber of Commerce Executive Women's Leadership Council. Ms. Doyle, welcome.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be with you today, and in this special day, which is Equal Pay Day, it is important that we talk about this topic, and I'm going to set the framework and context of the why it's so important for your salary negotiation training that you're going to get here and give you a little bit additional detail about the Women's Foundation and some of the work that we've done around this subject matter. So as mentioned, the Women's Foundation we're located in Kansas City, but we serve the entire state of Kansas and the entire state of Missouri. And we really focus a lot on research. We invest tremendously. We have a wonderful partnership here with University of Kansas, who has done a tremendous research study for us, a couple of significant ones, but one notably is the Status of Women in Kansas research study. It's been 20 years since such a study had been done. Dr. Donna Genther, who some of you may know, was the lead researcher on that study, and that can be found in greater detail on the Women's Foundation's website. But one topic that was highlighted is really focusing on income and employment in the state of Kansas as it relates to women. And this subject, equal pay and equity of pay for women doing the same work that a man does, was really highlighted in that research study. So as we celebrate this day, a couple of points that I want to make note of. First of all, women comprise 47% of the workforce. 47%. And as you know, on this college campus, there are more women on college campuses than men, outpacing. And then 42% of mothers in our country are the sole breadwinners for their families and their children. So that is a significant point to note. What's also important to note about the pay gap is we celebrate several equal pay days. So today is a celebration of all equal pay days. For Caucasian women, April 18th is equal pay day, so that means it takes that long from the beginning of the year to April to make up the pay on par with the Caucasian men. For Black women, it is in August, and for Latino women, it is in November. So you can see the gap significantly widens. Right now, the pace that we are going, it will take 41 years to be able to have pay parity. So that would be year 20,059. If we continue at the pace that we are, for Black women, it will be year 2124, and for Hispanic women, it will be 2233. So there is a lot of work that we can do, and the first thing that you can do to help close that pay gap is what you're going to talk about today is in salary negotiation. Why there is a pay gap. And Dr. Neely Bendakudi, who you all know quite well too on campus, has been a great friend of the Women's Foundation. And we wish her well as she journeys on to Kentucky. But we wanted to showcase her and she's been a great partner. But why the pay gap? And so there's a lot of research out there, but it shows that significantly when women step out of the workforce to start a family and then to re-enter is when there starts to be the significant widening of the gap between women and men. Typically when we start out from college in that first job, pretty on par between women and men, but as women continue to progress through their career in their 20s and 30s, you start to see the gap significantly widen. Also, too, there's discrimination that tends to happen. A lot of discussion around the Me Too movement, sexual harassment. That also is part of the factors in the pay inequity and the pay gap too. So, just to bring it back here to home, on national, the equal pay for equal work, it's 80 cents to the dollar that men make for the same work. Here in Kansas, it's 77 cents. In Missouri, here in the heartland, it's 78 cents to the dollar. And that's on average. So think about in the state of Kansas, the widest pay gap is 51 cents to the dollar that men make for the same work. That typically happens in more rural communities. And so what you see is an average for the entire state. So I want to share a little bit about some of the work that the Women's Foundation specifically has done on this topic. First and foremost, we continue to draw awareness year after year about this topic, and we promote and celebrate each of the equal pay days that we talked about in August as well as in November for Black and Hispanic Latino women. But we also have worked on some legislation. And legislation really started to dip our toe in the water in Missouri that started those conversations in Kansas to just create, to get on a baseline of what are some pay equity best practice guidelines that the state could implement. So there was some legislation that was introduced in 2015 in Missouri, and as luck would have it, or it was really a governor who wanted to do something, Governor Nixon in Missouri stepped up and said, you know what, why are we continuing to have this conversation after women have been in the workforce for more than 50 years? And he signed an executive order 15-09 at the Women's Foundation's annual event. And this was calling for, let's create best practice guidelines for the state of Missouri and for others, for the private sector and corporations to implement on what we can do to shore up this inequity. And so we, in partnership actually with the University of Missouri, created those best practice guidelines. And it really showcased, first and foremost, for employers, just take a look at all the pay grades and all the job descriptions and just do an audit. Do you actually have a pay gap? So again, drawing awareness to it, do an audit. And then specifically looking at how evaluations, how your performances are done and how raises are given. And so there are some best practice guidelines that you can find additionally on the Women's Foundation website to give you in greater detail. The third thing that we want that is also in line with this evening's presentation is salary negotiation. The Women's Foundation has started conversations with the American Association of University Women. They have a robust and are starting to do some salary negotiation. They actually partnered with the city of Boston to really do a citywide salary negotiation training. And it's something that the Women's Foundation is interested in bringing here to the heartland for all employees in the cities in the state to be able to have salary negotiation skills. So we couldn't be more pleased and excited that you're going to be having that conversation in additional detail this evening. So that is a really quick snapshot of some of the work the Women's Foundation has been doing around income and employment. The Women's Foundation's position on our policy work is economic development. So we are constantly looking at ways that we can bring dollars and cents back to women and their household budgets. Just a couple of points to note on some of the things that we're working on with Governor Collier here in the state of Kansas. The first action step that he took as the new governor, he stood with the Women's Foundation and he signed an executive order calling for no sexual harassment in the state capitol and working with the Women's Foundation to put in to place some best practice guidelines around sexual harassment. The second thing that we've been working on is paid family and medical leave. So when we talked about when women step out of the workforce to start a family and then to re-enter, we're wanting to create a level playing field and not only for women but also for men to be able to take time off for the birth or adoption of a child, but also for aging family members too. But to be able to keep your job and keep you in the workforce. So that's a policy position that the Women's Foundation has been working on. The third thing that we've been working on is more around entrepreneurship. And when pressed for women who have children, and as we talked about, the 42% that are the sole breadwinners, taking time off to care for children is a priority and a concern for single moms, but also a big concern for men. We heard that in focus groups that we held. So when we pressed women, what are solutions around the child care barrier? Women automatically gravitated to, if I had my own business, if I had control over my schedule, if I had flexibility, that I could provide the proper child care for my children. So the Women's Foundation has been working on occupational licensing to look at reducing barriers so that women can make it easier for them to start their own businesses. We're doing that in Missouri and in Kansas. And then finally, the point, we really need to have women at the policy-making table to really influence and to talk about and to be champions for issues that impact women, like salary negotiation. So the Women's Foundation did a study here with the University of Kansas on what are the barriers for women to become civically engaged. And the number one reason is that women want to be asked to serve. Women tend to undervalue, very much in line with the salary negotiation, undervalue their experience and expertise and hold back. When it comes to serving on a board or a commission or getting an appointment by a governor, women tend to look at the qualifications and want to have 9 of the 10, where men look at it and have 2 of the 10 and think they're qualified. So what we did is we came up with a solution, used the research here that KU did with the Women's Foundation, and we launched a solution called the Appointments Project. And we're working to get women appointed to boards and commissions to really dip their toe in the water of what civic engagement means, bring a voice to the table with the objective and goal that maybe they want to run for office someday. We need more than 25% representation in the state capital of Kansas representing women to really advocate for our issues. So interestingly, overnight after the 2016 general election, our applicant pool for the Appointments Project doubled overnight. So women are very interested in becoming civically engaged, and this is our small way to move it forward. So that's a quick snapshot about the Women's Foundation. Happy to answer briefly a few questions if you have them. But in the meantime, I'll put up here our website and information that you can follow us. We have a newsletter that you can subscribe to online and stay connected with us in our work in progress. So I'll pause there. Any questions for me about the Women's Foundation, pay equity, or policy work, Appointments Project? Okay. Yes.
So I noticed you had told us about the White Women's Equal Pay Day, African American, and the Hispanic. Is there an Asian American?
Actually, Asian is in January. So they are the closest to equal pay of any ethnicities. So that is in January. Good questions. Yes.
Is there an age that you're looking for with the policy?
The Appointments Project? No age, and we encourage any and all to get involved. We are looking for geographic diversity. We have youth commissions and any age we're encouraging. And you can go to the Women's Foundation website to apply. It's a very simple application, express your interest. And then we will work with you and answer any questions. That's one thing that women are not comfortable with when it comes to this is, picking up the phone and calling City Hall or the county executive offices or the governor's office. But we're a safe place to answer those questions that you may have. It was interesting with our qualitative study that KU did. Women want to know time of day of the meetings. Do you have an agenda? Is it a safe place or a safe location for your meetings? Those are things that are really important to women before they express their interest. So again, we're a safe place, any age, and we encourage you to do so. Great question. Yes, in the back.
What do men or non-binary individuals' involvement with this foundation look like?
So men are big supporters of the Women's Foundation. So we have women in our name, but men are very much a part of it. We have men who are on our board of directors. We work closely with the male elected officials. We have lots of men supporters. So this is a we conversation. We have women who are really promoting that, but we have great men supporters too. So we encourage men to be a part of this conversation as well. Thank you, great question. Other questions? All right, thank you so much for your time and for your interest. Appreciate it.